The victory against the coalition armies spread across the world like wildfire. Kingdoms whispered the same name in fear. Valoria, a kingdom that did not exist a few years ago, now stood like a mountain that refused to fall. In the great stone hall of Valoria, Emperor Allah stood before a massive war table carved from ancient oak. The table was covered with maps of the surrounding kingdoms. Generals gathered around him. Torches burned along the walls, casting long shadows that danced like ghosts of past wars. General Kale spoke first. "The coalition armies are gone, my emperor. But peace will not come." Allah looked down at the map. "You're right," he said quietly. "Victory only creates new enemies." Scouts have returned with troubling news. Something strange was happening beyond the eastern mountains. Entire villages were disappearing. Trade routes were being attacked. Messengers were vanishing. But the strangest part, no army banners were ever seen. It was as if the attackers were ghosts. General Kale placed a dagger on the map. "This is not the work of kings." Allah raised an eyebrow. "Then whose work is it?" Kale answered slowly. "Assassins." The room fell silent. Across the world there existed a secret organization feared even by kings. They were called the Shadow Court, a hidden brotherhood of elite assassins who sold death to the highest bidder. They did not conquer kingdoms. They simply removed rulers. And if the rumors were true, someone had hired them to kill the Emperor of Valoria. Allah walked toward the giant window overlooking the empire. Outside, the city of Valoria was growing. New homes, new markets, children running through the streets. For the first time in centuries, the valley was becoming a true civilization. But someone out there wanted to end it. Allah placed his hand on the stone wall. "If shadows want war," he turned back toward his generals, "then we will bring them the light." But far away in a hidden fortress deep inside the black forests, a group of masked figures sat around a circular stone table. In the center of the table burned a dark flame. A voice echoed in the chamber. "The Emperor of Valoria must die." One assassin leaned forward. "The coalition armies failed." Another replied coldly. "Armies are loud. We are silent." Then the leader of the Shadow Court finally spoke. "Send the Black Blade." Even the assassins in the room stiffened. Because the Black Blade was not just an assassin. He was a legend of death. And now, he was coming for Valoria. Days passed peacefully in Valoria. But peace can be the most dangerous illusion. On a quiet night, the moon hung low over the empire. Guards walked along the castle walls. The city slept. But somewhere in the darkness, a shadow moved across the rooftops. Silent, invisible, watching. The Black Blade had arrived. He moved like smoke between buildings. Every guard patrol, every tower, every gate. He studied everything. The castle at the center of the empire stood, tall like a fortress carved by giants. But no fortress is perfect, and assassins only made one mistake. Inside the palace, Emperor Allah was training in the courtyard. Even as an emperor, he refused to become weak. Sword strikes echoed through the night air. General Kale watched nearby. "You should rest," Kale said. Allah shook his head. "An emperor who stops training becomes a king who dies." Kale smiled slightly. Then suddenly, a guard screamed from the wall. An arrow shot through the air. The guard collapsed. Chaos erupted instantly. Intruder. Torches lit the walls. Soldiers ran across the fortress, but the shadow had already moved. The Black Blade slipped into the castle like a ghost. 2 guards blocked his path. Before they could speak, 2 flashes of steel. Both guards collapsed silently. The assassin continued forward. Closer, closer, toward the emperor. Inside the courtyard, Allah suddenly stopped training. Something felt wrong. Years of war had sharpened his instincts. He looked toward the dark hallway and saw a figure standing there. A tall man in black armor. a mask covering his face, a sword darker than midnight. The black blade had arrived. For a moment, neither man moved. Then the assassin spoke. "I have come for your life, Emperor." Allah lifted his sword. "You'll have to earn it." And in the silent courtyard of Valoria, two legends prepared to fight. An empire. The duel began like lightning. Steel crashed against steel. The courtyard echoed with the sound of blades striking again and again. The black blade was unbelievably fast. His attacks came like a storm. But Allah was not just an emperor. He was a warrior who had built an empire with his own sword. Their duel became a dance of death. Strike, block, counter. The assassin moved like a phantom. But Allah fought like a mountain. Soldiers rushed into the courtyard. But Allah raised his hand. No one interferes. This was a fight that had to be finished by the emperor himself. The black blade attacked again, spinning his blade toward Allah's neck. Allah barely blocked it. Their swords locked together. The assassin leaned closer. "You fight well." Allah smiled slightly. "So do you." Then suddenly, Allah kicked the assassin backward. Before the assassin could recover, Allah struck with a powerful downward swing. The black blade barely rolled aside. His mask cracked slightly. For the first time, the assassin looked surprised. No ruler had ever fought him like this before. The duel continued across the courtyard. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, Allah saw the opening. The assassin lunged forward, but Allah stepped aside and struck. His blade stopped just inches from the assassin's throat. The black blade froze. Silence filled the courtyard. The emperor had won. The soldiers raised their weapons, but Allah lowered his sword. "Tell your masters something." The assassin looked up. "You were sent to kill an emperor." Allah pointed toward the growing city of Valoria beyond the walls. But Valoria is not just one man. It is an empire, and empires cannot be assassinated. For a moment the assassin stared at him. Then he slowly stood up. "You are different from other rulers." Before the soldiers could react, the assassin threw a smoke bomb onto the ground. The courtyard filled with smoke. When it cleared, the black blade was gone. But far away in the shadows, the leader of the Shadow Court heard the news and smiled. "Interesting. If assassins cannot destroy Valoria, then we will send something worse. War. But that war would be unlike anything the world had ever seen. And the legend of the Valorian Empire was only beginning. Subscribe to the Valorian Empire, because the greatest battles are still coming.